Welcome back, guys, to the Which City Do I Move To series, where we dive deep into what it's like living in different cities in the US. And today we're exploring America's heartland, the Midwest. If you haven't watched the first part of the series where we explore New York City, Boston, and DC, be sure to check out that video. When you think about the Midwest, what's the city that comes to your mind? If you said Chicago, you're right, because Midwest equals Chicago, also known as political corruption, Polish sausage, and super brutal winters. Whenever I'm in Chicago, my mom thinks I'm either going to be robbed or be the one robbing other people. It's generally easier in the winter since everyone's wearing $1,000 Canada Gooses and $300 boots. And if you're not busy committing crime, then you probably have a weird love for drinking. Oh wait, never mind, that's just all the average people here. Geographically, Chicago is in a pretty interesting place, and most people will say they're from Chicago, even though they're not. Hey, where are you from? From Hoffman Estates, Illinois. It's near Chicago. In Illinois. Yeah, Chicago. Oh, cool. The great Anthony Bourdain summed up Chicago like this. You wake up in Chicago, pull back the curtain, and know where you are. You could be nowhere else. You're in a big, brash, muscular, broad-shouldered motherfucking city. My personal favorite description of Chicago is that it's like New York, but the people are friendlier and fatter, and far more segregated. And people in the city are generally nice. Walking around, people won't get hostile even with eye contact, and everyone is happy in the spring and summer. Oh, we don't talk about the winter here. And so, instead of arguing with each other, Chicagoans argue about meaningless things such as what the Windy City really means, whether the train system is called the L or L, and whether they like their Italian beefs wet or not. In terms of cleanliness, Chicago is pretty much a clean version of New York City without the trash bags piled on the sidewalks, yet still wins as one of the most rat-infested cities in America. If you're from Chicago, your mom will probably send you weekly news articles about shootings, and younger folks will ask if you've seen Chance the Rapper. In terms of career, there's a small startup scene that's starting to bubble in the city, but it's still not the biggest hub. Manufacturing, printing, transportation, and finance are some of the industries people here work in. And people really have a staunch need to hold on to traditions, from food traditions such as no ketchup on hot dogs to acceptance of city corruption. If you're a fan of architecture, neighborhoods, festivals, real seasons, not constantly being surrounded by people in tech, and just some good old Midwestern hospitality, then you should consider moving to Chicago. Next is St. Louis. High schools, libraries, the in-between city. I think we're really starting to see a trend where people just don't know where cities are. If you're in St. Louis, your favorite phrase will be, "Oh, there's the arch." The arch is indeed the monument of the city, but unlike looking at the bean in Chicago, this view actually never gets old. St. Louis actually ranks up there in terms of crime, and you'll know your life and property is in imminent danger if you're around anyone driving with a 99.1 Joy FM sticker. One thing that confused me when I was in St. Louis is that the restaurant that I thought was a copy of Panera is actually the OG, St. Louis Bread Co. That's right, Louis Bread was originally from Missouri, and it wasn't until Au Bon Pain purchased it that their name changed to Panera. That's probably the most history you'll get from this video. But if you're into bakeries or cafes, do keep in mind that all of their Tim Hortons are closed. People in St. Louis are generally nice, and if you run into locals, your conversation will most likely look something like this. Hey, which high school did you go to? Oh, I just moved here from Dallas. Which county are you from? What does that even mean? People also seem to have a fascination for weird transportation rules. For example, people from Missouri can't drive for shit, but those people can park, which to me feels like the opposite of Chicagoans. No right on red also means go for it if no one is coming, and stoplights are called stoptional, which means they're simply a suggestion, so if no one's coming, just roll right through. Now, if you find all of this confusing, don't worry, and if you end up living in St. Louis, just follow these simple traffic rules. Red means optional, yellow means hit the gas, and green means hold up a minute. In terms of career, you probably won't have one. But if you do land a job in a large tech position and have the opportunity to work remote, being in St. Louis means your taxes are lower, and it's a great place to be a top income earner. You'll also find an affordable place to live, and the rental market is much better than most places. But know that, similar to Chicago, St. Louis is quite segregated by race and income, and walking around the city, you'll probably notice some scars of historical and institutional racism. If you like hiking, scenery, and fried ravioli, then sure, you might consider St. Louis. And finally, there's Indianapolis. Ugg boots, short shorts, and you're still friends with the same people you know from high school. Now, how do I describe this city? Indianapolis is pretty much a dump of everything. You got Chicago's weather, St. Louis's job market, Alabama's racism, and my high school teacher's drug problems. The city has a lot of random things and got some race car stuff there, soybeans, cows, and peppermint, and they love the ranch dressing. In terms of the weather, it feels like Indianapolis is either snowing, raining, sleeting, or foggy as hell. Basically, it's cold enough to be miserable, but not cold enough to freeze and stay frozen. And there's really not much to talk about the city itself, but that doesn't mean it's a bad place or an alien of a city. People are generally friendly and outgoing, the airport's pretty cool, and the food's decent, and no, not everyone there is a farmer. If you just graduated from college, then Indianapolis probably shouldn't be on the top of your priority if you're looking for something exciting, because then you'll be disappointed and realize Indianapolis is just a giant speck of nothingness. Especially if you're moving from a populous city like New York, the Bay Area, or LA, prepare to be devastatingly underwhelmed. For example, if you're into nature and scenery, there isn't much of it. Sure, there's some parks and artificial beach, but nothing nature related that you'll be amazed by. The city is also behind overall city and planning compared to other cities. You can probably get by with public transportation, but most places absolutely require a car, since there aren't that many sidewalks either. To summarize, Indianapolis is pretty much your standard Midwestern city like Milwaukee or Columbus. If you like low cost of living, having space and not feeling trapped by lots of traffic or large buildings, or your job is headquartered there, then yeah, consider it. Maybe. Alright, well that's all I got with the heartland of the US, aka the Middle East, Midwest. If you learned nothing from this video, know that this giant plot of land does offer more than cornfields, crazy people, and calling Coke pop. And if you live here, leave a comment down below if any of this is true in your experience. In the next video, we'll be road tripping to the West Coast to explore all the wonderful cities next to the ocean. Is the West Coast truly the best coast? Stay tuned to find out. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next video.